What if I told you one of the most famous aircraft of World War II was never meant to survive the kind of damage it became famous for? This is the B-17 Flying Fortress. And during the North African campaign, its reputation began to grow into legend. When American B-17 bombers arrived in Tunisia in 1942 and 1943, they were flying into one of the most dangerous skies of the war. German fighters, anti-aircraft guns, and long distances across the desert made every mission a gamble. Yet the B-17 had something unusual. It was built to take punishment. The aircraft carried a crew of 10 men: pilot, co-pilot, navigator, bombardier, radio operator, and multiple gunners. Almost every direction around the aircraft was protected by heavy machine guns. That defensive power is where the nickname came from. Flying Fortress. But the most astonishing stories came from what happened after the battles. Many B-17s returned to base barely holding together. Some landed with huge holes in the wings. Others came back with entire sections of tail damaged or engines destroyed. There are documented cases of B-17 bombers returning with hundreds of bullet and shrapnel holes. One bomber even landed safely after part of its tail had been nearly torn away by a collision with a German fighter. Another famous aircraft, nicknamed All-American, returned to base with its tail almost completely severed. In North Africa, desert conditions made things even harder. Sand damaged engines. Heat pushed equipment to the limit. Long flights across empty desert meant that if a bomber went down, rescue could take days. Yet crews kept flying, mission after mission. The B-17 also introduced another powerful idea in warfare: precision bombing. Using the Norden bomb sight, bombardiers were trained to hit specific targets from high altitude. Railways, airfields, fuel depots, and factories were all targets meant to weaken enemy supply lines. Of course, reality was never perfect. Weather, enemy fire, and navigation challenges often made accuracy difficult. But the idea changed air warfare forever. By the end of the war, more than 12,000 B-17 bombers had been built. They flew over Europe, the Pacific, and North Africa. But for the men inside them, the aircraft was more than metal and guns. It was protection. It was hope. And sometimes it was the only thing standing between them and the vast desert below. The B-17 Flying Fortress became one of the most recognizable aircraft in history. Not because it was invincible, but because, again and again, it brought its crews home when survival seemed almost impossible. And that is how a bomber became a legend of World War II. If you enjoy discovering the hidden stories behind historic machines and battles, follow for more unexpected chapters from history.